year. I hope you all enjoyed the music as much as I have, and just this time of season where we can sing these songs and rejoice in a Savior who came in such a wonderful way as a baby. He could have come anyway, but he chose to come in a way that just endears us even more to him. And so, Emmanuel.
So what I'm going to do first is I want to read an email I received. It's a bit of a long story, but I'll get through it fairly quickly. And it's about a boy named Kevin, okay? And it kind of touched my heart because it reminds me a lot of Kirsten. The story, and some of you may have read this, God Lives Under the Bed. Written by Kevin's brother. I envy Kevin, my brother. Kevin thinks God lives under his bed. At least that's what I heard him say one night. He was praying out loud in his dark bedroom, and I stopped to listen. Are you there, God? He said. Where are you? Oh, I see, under the bed. I giggled softly and tiptoed off to my own room. Kevin's unique perspectives are often a source of amusement, but that night something else lingered long after the humor. I realized for the first time that the very different world Kevin lives in. He was born 30 years ago, mentally disabled as a result of difficulties during labor. Apart from his size, he's 6'2". There are a few ways in which he is an adult. He reasons and communicates with the capabilities of a 7-year-old, and he always will. He will probably always believe that God lives under his bed, just as he believes airplanes stay up in the sky because angels carry them. I remember wondering if Kevin realizes he is different. Is he ever dissatisfied with his monotonous life? Up before dawn each day, off to work at a workshop for the disabled, home to walk our Cocker Spaniel, return to eat his favorite macaroni and cheese for dinner, and later to bed. The only variation in the entire scheme is laundry, when he hovers excitingly over the washing machine like a mother with her newborn child. He does not seem dissatisfied. He lopes out to the bus every morning at 7:05, eager for a day of simple work. He wrings his hands excitedly while the water boils on the stove before dinner, and he stays up late twice a week to gather our dirty laundry for his next day's laundry chores. And Saturdays, oh, the bliss of Saturdays, that's the day my dad takes Kevin to the airport to have a soft drink, watch the planes land, and speculate loudly on the destination of passengers inside. That one's going to Chicago, Kevin shouts as he claps his hands. His anticipation is so great he can hardly sleep on Friday nights. And so goes his world of daily rituals and weekend field trips. He doesn't know what it means to be discontent. His life is simple. He will never know the entanglements of wealth or power. He does not care what brand of clothes he wears or what kind of food he eats. His needs have always been met, and he never worries that one day they may not be. His hands are diligent. Kevin is never so happy as when he is working. When he unloads the dishwasher or vacuums the carpet, his heart is completely in it. He does not shrink from a job when it is begun, and he does not leave a job until it is finished. But when his tasks are done, Kevin knows how to relax. He is not obsessed with his work or the work of others. His heart is pure. He still believes everyone tells the truth, promises must be kept, and when you are wrong, you apologize instead of argue. Free from pride and unconcerned with appearances, Kevin is not afraid to cry when he is hurt, angry, or sorry. He is always transparent, always sincere, and he trusts God. Not confined by intellectual reasoning, when he comes to Christ, he comes as a child. Kevin seems to know God. To really be friends with him in a way that is difficult for an educated person to grasp. God seems to like his closest companion. In my moments of doubts and frustrations with my Christianity, I envy the security Kevin has in his simple faith. It is then that I am most willing to admit that he has some divine knowledge that rises above my mortal questions. It is then I realize that perhaps he is not the one with the handicap. I am. My obligations, my fear, my pride, my circumstances, they all become disabilities when I do not trust them to God's care. Who knows if Kevin comprehends things I can never learn? After all, he has spent his whole life in that kind of innocence, praying after dark and soaking up the goodness and love of God. And one day, when the mysteries of heaven are open and we are all amazed by how close God really is in our hearts, I'll realize that God heard the simple prayers of a boy who believed that God lived under his bed. Kevin won't be surprised at all. That's kind of hard when your eyes are tearing up. I had a lot I wanted to say. As adults, we overthink things. The past election, it got so bad that I didn't want to email friends anything about elections. I didn't want to get involved in conversations because everyone had such strong views. I just didn't want to raise that conflict. Now we're worried about the fiscal cliff. The past Friday, there were so many people on Facebook talking about how they were concerned that what if it did happen? What would happen? There were too many people who had too many worries. And through all of it, they forgot that God was in control. God's always been in control. We don't have to worry about these things. We need to help others. We need to raise things up to God and ask for support. But God's in control no matter what. And when the Connecticut, for lack of better words, massacre, took place, God was there. God was with Victoria Soto and all the other teachers as they didn't hesitate. Their responsibility was to protect the kids, and that's what they did. He was there with Dawn Hutchspring, the principal, who fought to keep this murderer out. He was with the first responders, and he's with the world today as they continue. As the support continues to flow in. 5,000 teddy bears, thousands and thousands, millions. I think $2.5 million in support coming into that town. God is with us always, and we may not understand why things. We have a lot of choices, but we should never worry. We should never. We should be so happy all the time. This is Christmas time.